the air.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Studio Classroom on the Air. Today is a great day to learn something new. I'm Anne-Marie.
And I'm Gabe. As you all know, every month we
4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Studio Classroom on the Air. Today is a great day to learn something new. I'm Anne-Marie.
And I'm Gabe. As you all know, every month we read a summary of a different book.
And it's time to find out what book we are learning about this month. Are you ready? We're reading about The Princess Diaries. Hey, you know, I saw a movie with that same name years ago.
That's because there's a movie based off this story. But the book and film are quite different.
Hey, that's right. I've read the book this month, and I'm excited to talk with you all about it.
Well, not so fast, Anne-Marie. We need to listen to our reading first. So friends, take out your magazines and let's get started.
The Princess Diaries. High school is tough enough as it is. What would you do if you discovered you were a princess? It would likely turn your world upside down. That is what happened to Mia Thermopolis in The Princess Diaries. The book is written in the form of a diary by Mia, a 9th grade student who lives in New York City. Mia attends a private school. Her best friend is Lily Moskovitz, and the two of them talk about everything. Mia lives with her mother, who is separated from her father. She spends summers with her father and her grandmother in a chateau in France.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 我们先来看这个副词片语 upside down. Upside down 是上下颠倒、翻转的意思。例如 I always store my ketchup bottle upside down so the ketchup comes out more easily. 我把番茄酱瓶子都会倒着放，这样比较容易倒出来。文章中 turn something upside down 是一个惯用语。字面上的意思是把东西上下颠倒过来。例如 They turned the barrel upside down and let all the oil run out. 他们把木桶倒过来，好让油都流出来。另外 turn something upside down 也指把事情弄得乱七八糟，会造成很大的变化。例如 Sonia's world turned upside down when she and Jacob moved to Africa. Sonia 和 Jacob 搬去非洲后 ，Sonia 的世界有了很大的变化。接下来我们来看名词 chateau。chateau 是一个法语字，意思是城堡、庄园或豪宅。譬如 On our trip to Spain last summer, we visited several chateaux that had been summer homes for former kings. 我们去年去西班牙旅行时，造访了以前国王夏天用来当作住所的城堡，或是 All of the chateaux in France's Burgundy region are surrounded by vineyards. 位于法国 Burgundy 区的豪宅四周都是葡萄园，或是 During World War II, foreign armies used France's chateaux as their headquarters. 二次世界大战期间，外国军队曾以法国的庄园来作为他们的指挥总部。Okay, let's get back to our teachers.
Okay, thank you, Jack. Are you ready to learn about The Princess Diaries, friends? Let's start reading. High school is tough enough as it is. wow, there's kind of a lot to talk about in that first sentence already, isn't there?
That's true. We could talk about what that really means. But first, you need to know what this phrase means, friends. If something is tough enough as it is, or a noun is adjective enough as it is, you use this kind of phrase when you want to express that something is already that adjective, even without adding anything extra to it.
Maybe if you feel cold already inside, you could say, please don't turn on the air conditioning. It's already cold enough as it is. That means it's cold enough in here, you don't need to add anything else.
So what's the idea with this deck here? High school is tough enough as it is. That means we're going to probably find out about some problems that somebody has in high school. And even if she didn't have those problems, high school would already be tough. Anne-Marie, would you say this is true? I mean, when you think back to your high school years and junior high years, it was pretty tough sometimes, right?
Yeah, high school is a difficult time for everybody, I think, maybe for different reasons. For academically maybe, or maybe your social life struggled. Just going from being a child to being an adult, that offers a lot of difficulties.
Exactly.
There as well.
Adolescence, right? People are trying to figure out who they are, and we are later in life too, but especially during those years. Well, high school is tough enough as it is. We read here, what would you do if you discovered you were a princess? I don't know, Anne-Marie. If I discovered that I was a princess, it is 2021, so I mean, a lot of things are possible.
Wow.
But that's not what this means.
No.
I think maybe if our author had enough room, she would have added or a prince.
Oh, true. That is true. Let's keep reading here. It would likely turn your world upside down. That is what happened to Mia Thermopolis in The Princess Diaries. So we have a normal high school student here, and then she finds out one day she's actually a princess. The book is written in the form of a diary by Mia, a 9th grade student who lives in New York City. Now we have a picture here for you, friends, of a girl writing in a diary. Have you ever kept a diary before, Gabe?
You know, I did keep a diary. That's a great word to know, friends. Keep, when we talk about having a diary or a journal or something like that, that you record things in on a regular basis, we use the word keep. I remember the first diary that I kept was in 5th grade. There was a picture of Garfield on the front, Garfield the cat, and it was very small, and it only had enough space for each day to write a few sentences.
Would you say that was a diary or a journal?
I called it a diary because I think it said diary on the front.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but let's talk about the difference between a diary and a journal, because journal is not in our lesson, but they're very related, and sometimes people use them to mean the same things. I think of a diary as a little more personal, like you're sharing your deepest thoughts and especially your secrets you don't want other people to know about.
For sure. When I think of a journal, I think of more maybe just listing what happened in that day. So not necessarily your thoughts or your secrets or your feelings, but just a record of what's going on.
Exactly. However, I do keep a journal now.
Okay.
And I have to say, I record a lot of my deepest thoughts and things that I don't want other people to read about.
So maybe those two words could be a little bit interchangeable. Well, I keep something different, actually, and I brought it to show you today, friends. I keep a day planner.
Oh, the day planner.
Have you heard of a day planner before?
Yes.
So a day planner is where you record the things that you have to do. So sometimes there's a calendar, or maybe there's a month calendar and a week calendar. So I record my schedule and then also my to-do lists for every day in my day planner.
My dad keeps a day planner, and he records a lot of interesting things that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a lot of family memories that we know of because he recorded those moments in his day planner. Friends, do you keep a diary, a journal, or a day planner? Talk about that. But let's keep moving along here. We learned that Mia attends a private school. Now, there is a difference between a private school and a public school. In the United States, and I think in a lot of places, a private school is more expensive.
That's true. What's the difference between a private school and a public school?
Oh, a public school. Well, a public school is funded by the government. That's probably the main difference. And so, of course, most governments around the world believe all kids should have an education. But if you want to spend a little more, then you would send your kids to a private school.
All right. Well, right now, friends, it is time for us to learn something new in the Info Cloud. Hello, friends. Welcome to Info Cloud. Hey, Rex, I heard that you were raised in a wealthy family. Tell me a little bit more about what that was like.
Well, it's hard to define wealthy, but I'll tell you this. I was pretty spoiled as a kid because I did have a lot of material things like toys, lived in a big house and good food.
Wow. Well, it sounds like you lived like a king when you were growing up.
No, not to that degree, but it had a negative effect on me because I didn't have to work for any of those things. I was extremely spoiled. Why don't you explain what you mean by living like a king?
Well, when we say someone lives like a king, it means they are living in luxury. They have more than enough money to maintain a very rich lifestyle.
This expression could have a little negative connotation, saying that the person is wasting a lot of money to maintain a lavish lifestyle.
However, live like a king can also be used in a positive way.
Oh, like in some countries, the living expense is so low that if you move there, you can live like a king because everything is so cheap. Andrea, so do you live like a king?
Well, I certainly am not living a luxurious lifestyle, but I feel extremely blessed. So in a way, you could say that I do live like a king, or maybe a queen.
当有人的生活相当奢华，你可以用今天分享的用语 live like a king 来形容。Live like a king 就是像帝王一样的生活，要什么有什么，但前提是钱多到可以维持这样的生活。He lives like a king after he won the lottery. 他中了彩券之后，生活变得相当奢华。虽然 live like a king 听起来有点挥金如土的负面含义，但它也可以正面的使用。例如 He lives like a king in this country because everything is so cheap. 他在这个国家生活的相当好，因为所有的东西都很便宜。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次再见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome back to Studio Classroom. Anne-Marie, what are you doing?
Oh, sorry, I was just making some notes in my day planner. Talking about diaries and journals and day planners just reminded me I have so many important things to add to mine.
All right, well, that sounds important. Friends, while she is working with her day planner, why don't we continue and find out what happens next to Mia?
The Princess Diaries. Mia shares all her teenage struggles in her diary. These include her trouble with algebra and the fact that she is in love with a senior, Josh Richter. In the midst of all these struggles, her father comes to visit her. He reveals that he isn't a European politician, but the prince of the small country of Genovia. This makes Mia a princess, which Mia finds totally horrifying because it will change her life. He wants her to move to Genovia right away, but Mia refuses, so they compromise.
"好，我们再来看名词 midst， 意思是当中、中间，而片语 in the midst of 的意思是在什么之中。譬如 Jean and Henry decided to eat their picnic lunch in the midst of a field of beautiful flowers. Jean 跟 Henry 决定在一片美丽的花海中野餐。还有像是 in the midst of a crowded restaurant, Bart got down on one knee and proposed to Janice. 在挤满了人的餐厅里 Bart 单膝下跪向 Janice 求婚。In the midst of 也指正当什么的时候，譬如 in the midst of his presentation, Jeremy looked at his boss to see his reaction to what he had said. 在做简报过程中 ，Jeremy 注意老板对他所说的内容有何反应。最后我们来看 horrify 这个动词 ，horrify 是使恐惧或震惊的意思。文章里 horrify 后面加上了 ing。Horrifying 就变成形容词，意思是令人恐惧或震惊的。譬如 Getting lost in the dark woods was a horrifying experience. 在幽暗的森林里迷路是一个恐怖的经验。或是 Yesterday was the most horrifying day of Anne's life. 昨天真是 Anne 一生中最可怕的一天。另外 horrify 的过去分词 horrified也可以当作形容词用，意思是吓坏的。譬如说 Robert was horrified when he spilled coffee all down his shirt just before a meeting with his boss. Robert 跟老板开会前把咖啡洒到衬衫上，他吓坏了。All right, let's get back to our teachers.
All right, friends, let's get right back into our lesson. Mia shares all her teenage struggles in her diary. These include her trouble with algebra and the fact that she is in love with a senior, Josh Richter.
All right, there's a lot of things that people share in their diaries. She shares some pretty personal information. I don't know about you, Anne-Marie. I wasn't very good at algebra. I was better at geometry, that is 几何学. Were you good at math?
No, not at all. I was not good at any kind of math at all, ever.
All right, well, maybe you have something in common with Mia Thermopolis.
A little bit, yes, for sure.
All right, well, we read here, in the midst of all these struggles, her father comes to visit her. He reveals that he isn't a European politician, but the prince of the small country of Genovia.
You know, it's interesting that our lesson uses the word reveals and not tells. Do those two words mean something different?
They actually do in this case.
Okay.
But of course, reveal is often used to mean that you show something that was hidden to the eyes, okay? However, you can tell someone something that they didn't know before. You're revealing information.
Oh, that makes sense. You know, that's why I don't like to read TV spoilers online. Sometimes they reveal the ending of something I'm in the middle of watching. Something I didn't know, I didn't want to know, and I haven't gotten there yet.
Exactly. Those are called spoilers, right? And usually at the top of those articles, they say spoiler alert.
That's right.
Anne-Marie, did you maybe skip the saying
It's
spoiler
possible
alert?
I just glanced over that too fast.
Yeah, well, I hate that too. We read on here, this makes Mia a princess, so she just found out who her dad was. This makes her a princess, which Mia finds totally horrifying because it will change her life.
He wants her to move to Genovia right away, but Mia refuses, so they compromise.
Now, compromise in Chinese, you might say 妥协, okay? So you have an agreement or a solution that is reached by each side giving up something that they want. You kind of find a middle ground.
All right, friends. Well, right now it is time to go to our SC challenge. Let's see how our teachers do today.
Friends, for today's challenge, let's find out who's playing with us. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Manya. It's wonderful to be here today.
What's up everybody? I'm David and I am very excited to be here with you.
And today's challenge is the word match. You've played this before, friends. You can add the word bottle to water to create a new idea, water bottle, or the word fall to water to create a new word, waterfall. So I have three words in my hand, turn, book, and love. And I wonder if our contestants and you can guess the new word that I add to these words to create a new idea. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Manya, you can go first with the word turn. What do you think? What word can you use to match what I have in my head?
Turn off.
Turn off. Okay, that's two words. No, that's not correct.
Turn on.
Turn on. Okay. That's also not the word I have in my hand. Here is a little hint. This is an object, and it's something that a musician might use at a club. to get out some music for the crowd. You also might use this to play a record if you have.
Aha!
Yes, David?
It's a turntable?
You are correct. That's called a turntable, friends. It doesn't look like a normal table, of course. Okay, the next word is book. David, you can go first this time.
Bookshelf.
Bookshelf, great guess, but no. Manya?
Bookend.
Bookend is correct.
Wow!
Yes,
I am a mind reader.
You are a mind reader.
You are.
Manya, real quickly, what is a bookend?
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's an object you can put at the end of many books so that they don't fall.
Exactly, so that they don't fall over. Okay, the next word, the last word for today, and it's game point, they both have 1 point, is love. Manya, we'll begin with you.
Love triangle.
Love triangle. That's when two people are interested in one other person and he's only interested in one. Anyway, that's not the correct answer.
Lovebirds.
Lovebirds, oh, like a romantic couple. That's also not what I have. Here is a hint. Okay, lovebirds might write one of these to the other. You got a guess?
Love book?
Love book? No, shorter than a book.
Love note.
Love note. It's very similar to a note. What's a good synonym, Manya? You can go ahead and guess. It's actually this answer.
Love letter.
Love letter is the correct answer, friends. Is that what you guessed as well? Well, that is all we have for today's word match, and thank you for joining us for today's SC Challenge.
Great job on that word match, teachers. Wow, Anne-Marie 居然戴上了 tiara.
Hey, you never know. Maybe I'm a secret princess too. I want to be ready in case I ever need to rule a country.
That's unlikely. But in our story today, finding out that she was actually a princess really changed Mia's life. It turned her world upside down. So here's a question for us to discuss. Has anything happened in your life to make it or cause it to totally change?
Well, I've never had to learn how to rule a country before.
Yeah.
But 自从呢我车祸以后，我就要适应我的生活了。我车祸以后呢，我不像以前那么的 active.
You haven't shared about your car accident a lot here at Studio Classroom. How long ago was that?
I can't remember.
It was a few years ago. I remember when he had that car accident.
Yeah.
And thankfully nobody was in the car at the time, right?
Nope.
Yeah, but it kind of like affected maybe your body in some ways.
Yeah,
or
my body.
Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, things like that can really change your life. What about you, Anne-Marie?
Well, I would say for me, one of the biggest changes in my life was having my daughter. It was a good change, but I really had to learn how to adjust my time, my expectations, and even my commitments. And how about you, Gabe?
Well, I was going to say the same thing. And I think Jack would probably agree. I think that having kids is definitely a bigger change, a bigger life change than simply getting married. Would you guys agree?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, 对对
yeah, I
对
think
对。
so.
结婚前你可以做很多事情是为了自己。
Right.
结婚后生了孩子都是为了别人。
But even 结婚后 is like kind of more similar to 结婚前. It's like you're living with your spouse now, but life can still kind of be the same. But having kids, that's when really
Totally
life starts to
different.
change. Yeah, all right. Well, friends, what about you? Have you ever experienced a big change in your life? We are going to find out more about how Mia's big change affected her life in tomorrow's lesson. So we hope you'll join us right here on
Studio Classroom.
Last a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.